I'm walking around Florence, Italy, and I was thinking about my conversations that I was having last week with the challenges of being a researcher. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually teaching in Italy, and I have this opportunity to teach in Italy. And for those of you who understand what research life is, this is not meant to be. So for all of us that do research on a regular basis, this is something that we shouldn't do, and we should push any of this stuff aside, all of the amazing things that we do, and we should spend all of our time in our office to make sure that we do research. Now, the challenge with that objective is that you miss out on a lot of life. So all of you that understand what research life is, it's about pushing away things. And this opportunity that I have to teach abroad is taking away from some of the stuff that I do in terms of research. We know that that is the truth. But these things are very important for me in terms of how I feel about the world. You could see that I actually wasn't feeling that great about the world last week, and that is very much the norm of what it means to be a researcher. You go through these moments where you're in utter despair and you can't figure the world out, and then you have to figure out ways to push that away. And for many of us, we use these opportunities such as teaching abroad or going and visiting colleagues, or doing things that are more about enjoying life, to push away the troubles that we feel. Now, the problem with much of that is that that takes away from our research productivity. The most productive people generally don't do these kind of things, and what ends up happening is that feels not great about ourselves. And that makes us feel very hollow. And so what we have to often do is figure out the way to balance our research lives and what we actually do, and then the rest of it. And we know that every time that we do something, every time that I travel, for example, every time that I go to different locations, every time that I spend time with family, every time that I do something, it's taking away from my research productivity. And the challenge with that, sorry, I'm dodging traffic at the same time. It's a little daunting. Hold on one second. Look at, there's all these cars. The challenge with that is that mentally it's not a good lifestyle to spend your time reading and writing constantly without all of these sort of breaks that you actually have. And the important thing that you have to do is to honestly push away all of the research stuff in your brain, because that doesn't feel good. It never does. I don't know of anybody that goes through the moments where it actually feels good. And then from the outside world, it looks like people can, we do all of these sort of interesting things where we go to different places. Our job, our most important thing that we do is I'm trying not to get run over, is trying to make sure that we do research every day. And the most productive anybody is when they're at their desk with their butt in their seat. And trust me, I don't think anybody's ever happy doing that kind of stuff. So I want everybody to know that as you go through this, as you go through moments of doing research and you're in the research career, to realize that there's lots of things that are not necessarily research productive in any sort of way, right? It takes away from research. Family, friends, going for a teaching opportunity in Florence, Italy, all of those things take away from research, but they're vitally important to keep your sanity, to keep your self going. And the more that I realize that that is important to me, the more that I keep this up, the more that I know that we need to do more of these things. And remember that the research is the only thing that sort of keeps us going, but it's not the only thing, right? And if you're in the research game, you completely understand what I'm talking about. It's the long-term play that everybody does, is to do research. But in the short term, these are the things that give us motivation. Doing things like this that allow us to say, hey, life is not so bad after all. And keep us going, keep us up, keep us thinking about the next idea. And I think everybody that's in the research career completely understands the sort of weird dynamic that you go through with this, with a love-hate relationship. But I know in my own heart that I think we can take some of the great things that we understand about technology, about how to actually build platforms to transform the research that we actually do. Every time that I go into an Uber, I ask the Uber driver, I talk to them about how they sort of come into the career. And almost always they enjoy what they're actually doing. Of course, that's what they tell me. They enjoy what they're doing, and it's a much better opportunity for them than driving a taxi cab. And I think it's the time that we do this with the Reciprocity Project. I think we can take some of the things that we understand in terms of technology and transform the research process. I think we could do that. I just need your help. I need you to participate in as many ways as you possibly can so that we can transform the research process, to make it enjoyable, to make it fun, and to make it something that more people, not just a fortunate few that can sort of push away the outside world and have that sort of feeling of I can push forward, sort of militant attitude to push forward, transform the research world so anybody can do it. Anybody at any age can pick it up and get going and transform the research community as we know it. I just need your help. So join the Reciprocity Project.